Welcome back. This is Bishop's Breakdown. This week we're talking Michigan football coach hiring, the debate on Christmas Day. Is it NBA's day? Is it NFL's day? Is it both of their days? We'll talk about that. Some WWE news, SmackDown, Raw, the huge MVP rankings for the NBA, power rankings for the NFL and NBA. So let's get into it and, break it down. And don't forget to, like, subscribe, comment, follow, do all the things to show that I'm doing something worthwhile. And it only helps and it makes it possible that I can get other things like interviews or whatnot. So don't forget to do that. It only takes 30 seconds, and I appreciate every single like, every single follow. Because without y'all, I am a nothing. I'm a nobody, and I'm just trying to put my knowledge out into the world, into the ether. So, hook a brother up, brother. This is episode 10. Episode 10. Wow, time flies. So let's get into it. And first up, like usual, the Monday Night Football game from last week. So as we wrap up Week 16 Monday Night Football, it's the Colts taking on the 49ers. You got to feel bad for the Indianapolis Colts. They lose their starting quarterback. They were the favorites to not only win their division, but also to make some noise in the playoffs in the AFC. But not making the playoffs at all, not even as a wild card with that team, is wild. But without their starter, they had to turn to Phillip Rivers, who, hadn't played since 2020. But good for Phillip Rivers, because he showed that anything's possible in sports. And then the 49ers already look in playoff mode. Purdy, 5 touchdowns. CMC, Christian McCaffrey, with 117 yards rushing. Kittle, 115 yards receiving. Their defense held Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in all of football, to nothing but 46 yards. But let's move on to some wrestling. So this episode of Monday Night Raw was pre-taped in Grand Rapids during the SmackDown showing last week. So I didn't expect much, but I didn't even watch spoilers, so I went in brand new. And the match that you need to go out of your way to watch is Javon Evans versus Rio Americano. And the main event with Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, CM Punk, and Rey Mysterio. Those are the matches you need to go out of your way. The other stuff, strictly filler. Tape show, they phoned it in, so nothing super eventful happened. So let's get to Austin Theory. I was hoping for more of a lone wolf reason why he, been helping the division win matches, seizing his opportunity. But it just seems like he wants to impress Paul Heyman and the division, and hopefully he won't just become some dude in the background in this group and fade away to obscurity like he did when he was in a tag team with Grayson Waller. Because I think he needs a reset to his career. Acting like the other years didn't happen. Like his failed opportunity being aligned with Vince all those years ago. The failed money bait cash in. Instead of cashing in on the World Heavyweight title, he cashed in on a mid-card title and lost. So he was a double loser. And the failed tag team with Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under. So hopefully with all this newness, with him being in the main event, maybe he'll be what I hoping that the WWE Universe will see. And you'll be like, Austin Theory's that guy. And then Gunther's still getting booed out the building. But this time, confronted by CM Punk and Rey Mysterio. I don't know. Maybe he'll retire Rey next. And then Brock Lesnar. And then Randy Orton. Just give them all the retirements. AJ Styles. But this show just seemed to be pushing towards the anniversary show of Raw being on Netflix. It's going to be a year on the 5th of January. So, but my bold, but not really that bold prediction is Chris Jericho is going to appear on that show to confront CM Punk after he retains against Braun Breaker, or interferes in the match, or whatever. But I feel Chris Jericho's face is going to be the last thing you see on Netflix on the anniversary show. And take that to the bank. Believe that. So SmackDown was taped in Grand Rapids, just like Raw was. So I wasn't expecting much from this show either. So here's the big points from this show. Joe Hendry had a little mini concert with his Christmas Carol song about, the Miz's nether regions. Miz comes out, hotter than heck, and set up their little match. Miracle on 34 Street Fight. Ugh. Whatever. It's a match, candy canes, baubles, people interfering, elves, whatever. But Joe Hendry wins. Shocker. But the big news coming out of SmackDown, we have a new United States champion. And the person is Carmelo Hayes. Round of applause for Carmelo Hayes. Because he deserves it. But not only did he answer the open challenge, he defeated Dragunov in a good match. Felt they had better matches in NXT, especially the Great American Bash title match that Carmelo retained, or the No Mercy match where Ilya Dragunov won his NXT title for the first time. Then the main event segment, you had Nick Aldis in the ring waiting for Drew and Cody. Drew had to apologize to the ref for beating him up, blah, blah, blah. It's all to set up a title match for the undisputed WWE Championship, which Drew let Cody know it's going to be the 3 stages of hell on January 9th, live from Berlin, Germany. And like a heel would do, Cody can't attack Drew after he apologized because he'll be stripped of the title. So he's sitting there looking like he wants to attack, but he can't. And Drew says, well, I never said I couldn't. So he Claymore kicked the crap out of him. And Drew better win this match on January 9th in Berlin. Or why are we even doing this? All this should have said, you get no more title shots, and I don't care if you ever come back. He can't be a 10-time loser to Cody. Because then what now? He's just a big loser, can never beat Cody. Just like I felt with Seth Rollins back in the day before he actually beat him at Crown Jewel. Because Cody kept beating him left and right and straight and back and all this, and Drew's become a punching bag for him. He torments him for weeks, months, and then the title match happens, and Cody comes out on top, and Drew goes back to being bitter. And then he'll come back and attack him again, and then they'll do it again, and he's bitter, and then blah, 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 over and over and over again. That, what they call that? Insanity. Expecting different results, but doing the same things. So if Drew can't win, he needs to either be moved to Raw, and then Cody moves on to someone else, or Cody loses the title. He can win it back at the Rumble. He can win it back at a SmackDown. He can win it back, I don't know, Elimination Chamber, whatever. But I think Drew needs to win this title at this 3 stages of hell. Or it's, why even have it? Just cancel the match right now if that's your plan, WWE. Just cancel it all. So moving on to Week 17 thoughts. Let's start with Christmas Day. The Cowboys win in a type of game, but against a team that's not good either, the Commanders. So Cowboys win. Hooray. The Lions, I talked about this on my TikTok, but here's my less stressed out observation. The Lions turned the ball over 6 times. Goff got sacked 5 times. Couldn't seem to score. They scored 1 touchdown. let the bums of Minnesota, no offense, Viking fans, but what I gained from this game, the Lions are not a playoff team. And that's why their season is over. Even though they got one more game against the Bears, it doesn't matter. That's how they played, and that's how they ended their season with a fart. Fart in the wind. A wet fart at that. I mean, it was miserable. I'm trying to watch it with my family, and they couldn't even stomach it. So, yeah, it's not a good look for the Lions. So their off season is going to be horrendous. But hopefully they can step their game up and do something in the draft, free agency, I don't know, something. And the last game on Christmas Day was the Broncos beating the pathetic Kansas City Chiefs team, but only by a little. So I still don't know if the Broncos are super good, like a Super Bowl winning team, or just the most mediocre 13-win team, number one seed of all time. And clearly losing Ben Johnson seems to be the downfall of the Lions, because the Bears they got him. Not only are they playing better, but they won the division and looking to make noise in the playoffs. Like, Caleb Williams looked like a totally different quarterback this year than he did last year. So clearly we shouldn't have lost Ben Johnson, and that's why the Lions are sitting at home, and Ben Johnson and the boys and the Chicago Bears are not. And then the Ravens blow out the Packers. Because, crazy thing, they had this one guy in the backfield. I don't know if you heard of him, but his name is King Henry. Derrick Henry. Doing his thing. 36 yards, 216 yards rushing. 36 carries, 216 yards of rushing, and 4 touchdowns. So here's a message to the Baltimore Ravens and John Harbaugh. How about this? Keep doing that. And you might win the division against the Steelers next week, because no one's stopping your team if Derrick Henry's playing like that. So give him 30-plus carries, and I guarantee it, you will win that game. Especially if Lamar's playing. Like, don't put him in danger. Put it in the hands of King Henry. They call him King for a reason. And then the Bills. They struggled literally all game in their house to score offense. They couldn't score any points until the fourth quarter. And the Eagles couldn't score in the second half. So the Bills stepped it up. Their defense stepped it up and was killing them all second half long. And you score late in the fourth quarter, and instead of going for the tie, you go for the win. And why? Their Eagles offense wasn't doing diddly against your defense. So take the free points, beat them in overtime. But because of the fact that you want to win in a regulation and didn't, you lost a division to the Patriots. And that's crazy to me, because I feel that this team is a division Super Bowl contender. And you making bonehead decisions like that and that pass, even though that pass should have been better by your MVP, but shouldn't have put him in that position and just kick the field goal and get that extra point and move on to the overtime and beat him there. So I don't understand what y'all were thinking, because it's not like their offense was tearing it up in the second half. So check their fan duels, I guess. And then the 49ers beat the Bears, even though this was probably the best Sunday night football game of the entire football season. Both scored in the first quarter, and they kept scoring and kept scoring. Like, the 49ers will go up by a touchdown, and then the Bears and Caleb Williams will drive down the field and score a touchdown. I was hoping for more overtime, but the 49ers D showed up in the final possession, and Caleb Williams tried. If he had just a little bit more time, he would have found the open guy. I guarantee it. But that's why they play the games, right? And besides And so instead of doing the usual power ranking, I'm just going to do the top seeds on both the AFC and the NFC, minus the teams that are still playing for divisional, you know, upheaval. Like the Steelers and the Ravens next week playing for the division, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers are playing for the division next week. But here's the up-to-date top seeds in both the AFC and NFC. In the AFC, you got the Denver Broncos and New England Patriots fighting out for the top spot. But creeping right behind them is the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is a mystery to me how good they are right now. But they have a slim chance to overtake these two if the Denver Broncos, New England Patriots lose and the Jags win. They could sneak in and be the number one seed. Yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars could possibly be the number one seed in the AFC. If I told you this 10 months ago, you would say, bro, you might need to be drug tested because you're talking bananas. And then the NFC is a little bit more clear. You got the Seattle Seahawks with number one seed, Chicago Bears number 2, and then the Philadelphia Eagles number 3. Moving on to my favorite segment. So this elephant in the room is going to be a twofer. So I'm going to talk Michigan's new hire, the head coach, Kyle Whittingham, the former coach of the Utah Utes, who stepped down for a random reason, and all of a sudden now he's the head coach for the Michigan Wolverines. I seen his press conference. I checked out his stats. I checked out his career as a head coach. And I wouldn't say it's a safe choice, but I feel that he could bring us back to popularity. Like, take away all these scandals and be what Michigan football is all about. Dominating, running, punching people in the mouth. You know, the usual. Being the champions of the Midwest. You know, putting it to Michigan States and the Ohio States of the world and just competing every Saturday and going to a good bowl game every year or getting to the playoffs, you know, because they keep expanding it. So it's going to get to the point where there's no excuses to not be in the playoffs. And I feel Whittingham can do that for Michigan. And he claimed, you know, he talked to Bryce, and Bryce said, I'm looking forward to this competition, looking forward to how the offense is going to meld. And I guess the first test is going to be at the bowl game because assuming that he's taking over the reins currently because that's what they introduced him as, and they're going to take on Texas on New Year's Eve in Florida. So hopefully we'll see what type of offense that he's going to bring to the table. I mean, it's not going to be something, you know, groundbreaking, but hopefully they'll compete and maybe they'll win the bowl game and head into next season, have high hopes, because I need high hopes, because after all this shenanigans that Sharon Moore brought to the table and Jim Harbaugh left at the table, and the Connor Stallions of the world, that I just wanted to be able to enjoy Saturday and just watch Michigan football and just, I don't know, feel like a kid again and enjoy hike. But from what I gathered from Whittingham's tenure, he's like a Swiss Army knife. You know, he's precisionally engineered. He's reliable. He's built to last. But he's not flashy. Like, that's the exact point. Like, he's not going to do something crazy. He's not going to do crazy plays. He's not going to be a Dan Campbell fourth down type dude every fourth down. But Utah won because it's discipline, not because it's spectacular. And that's all I need from my Michigan football team. I need discipline and W's. I don't care if they throw for 5,000 yards in a season or rush for 10,000 yards on the ground. If you're making W's and you're being disciplined and not committing penalties, not throwing turnovers, but just doing what you need to do and scoring points and stopping the other team from scoring points, that's all that matters, and that's all I want from a Michigan football team in 2026 and beyond. I don't need flash. I need W's. I need good talent on both sides of the ball. I need good recruits coming in, year out. I need just football played right, and all the other garbage that's on the off season, on the practice field, on the streets don't matter, because Michigan football is a winner again. And that's all I want as a Michigan fan from day one. So please do that, Kyle Whittingham, and you'll be my favorite new coach. So I have faith. I'm gonna wait and see how next season turns out, because I'm not going to test your merit by this bowl game, because you literally had weeks, like less than weeks, to prepare this team to play the way you want them to play. But I just want to hope we get a little taste of what you're going to bring to the table, and go blue. In the second part of this elephant in the room, let's talk NBA and NFL. There's a lot of famous people on both sides of the ball saying Christmas is an NBA thing. No, Christmas is an NFL thing. But I feel if the NFL gives us that type of games every Christmas, stay away from Christmas, please, because the NBA games were way more competitive, way more exciting, because you had the Knicks earlier in the day, and that was the Knicks and the Cavs going back and forth all game long. That's what I want to watch. Or the Thunder and the Spurs. Wow. Like, the Thunder kryptonite is clearly Victor and the Spurs. But it was entertaining from tip off to the whistle blow. And not to mention my homie from wherever he from, Nikola Jokic, and that night game, he chose violence with his 55 or 56 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists, triple dub. That, I know this is crazy, but nobody in history had those stat lines in a triple double ever. But he did it like naturally. So, yeah, NFL, stay away from my holidays if you're going to give me the trash that you gave me. You have Thanksgiving. Put the trash on Thanksgiving while I'm filling my face with turkey and stuffing in them. But while we opening gifts, we get coal from you. Please don't. Just stay away. I know you love the money. It's all about the money. I get it. But please stay away and let the NBA shine, because they deserve it. Those games that you had didn't shine. It looked like poop. Like poop on TV, and I had to have a Netflix subscription just to watch poop. Thanks for insulting my intelligence. I thought only Triple H did that, but I guess the NFL want to do it too. So I guess two people want to make me look like an idiot. So moving on. But NBA, I got your back. Christmas is all about the NBA. So speaking of Nikola Jokic, here's a nugget of information. Get it? No, never mind. So comparing his season stats to the all-time great career highs players, Jokic is averaging this season 29.7 points per game, 13.7 rebounds per game, and 11.6 assists per game. So here's three all-time greats that he's done better than, that are all-time greats. Shaquille O'Neal averaged for his career 29.67. Jokic is doing better. Tim Duncan, 12.9 rebounds per game. Well, Jokic is doing better than that too. And Chris Paul, a point guard by the way, 11.7 assists per game. And yeah, Jokic is doing better too. So I'm just saying we might be witnessing his best season yet. And if you don't believe me, listen to this. He is the first player in the NBA to do this. In his 3-game span, has recorded 110 plus points, 40 plus rebounds, and 40 plus assists. No one's done that in a 3-game span in history. And not to mention that I said earlier that he was playing NBA 2K in real life with his 56, 16, 15. Don't forget the 2 blocks and the 4 3 points made. Like his basketball IQ is through the roof. He does it effortlessly. And he makes the case of being the greatest center of all time. Yes, I said it. The greatest center to ever play the NBA is going to be Nikola Jokic once his career is over. So screenshot this, record this, whatever, because I said it. Nikola Jokic will become the greatest center in NBA history. And I would be nuts to not talk about the OKC Spurs budding rivalry. The Spurs have beaten the best team in the NBA this season, not once, not twice, but 3 times in 2 weeks. They have done it relatively easy too. And the Thunder have only lost 5 total games so far this season, and 3 of those against the same team. So based on this, I can't wait for the playoff matchup between these two, because I think that will be crazy good. So mark my words, the Thunder do not want to see the Spurs in the playoffs. But I got a bone to pick with one team that I just glanced at because clearly they aren't winning much. But the Pacers, the Indianapolis Pacers, or Indiana Pacers, whatever. I knew they were going to miss Tyrese Halliburton because, he was hurt. But they knew that too. Like, it's not like it was during the season or something, but he hurt himself at the NBA Finals. So they knew that he was gone for a whole year. They knew they weren't getting Miles Turner back through free agency. He went to the Bucks. But why in the world didn't you plan for any of this? I've never seen a team that was in the NBA Finals go from that to 6-26. 6 wins, 26 losses. Terrible look for a team that was in the finals. So it's as if they just gave up before the season even started. It was like, well, we don't have Tyrese. We ain't going to have Miles Turner. So Siakam was like, why even care, bruh? You care because you're still getting paid millions of dollars. Like, I've been at work before and equipment breaks. And guess what? I still have to do my same job to the same standards that I did when the equipment was working. It doesn't matter. You have to adapt. You have to play the game that you're getting paid to play. So, Pacers, I'm looking at you. Step your game up because this is a terrible look for you. Like, you're bottom barrel terrible at this point. Like, terrible. But the Pistons look real good, though. I'm just saying. So here's the NBA power ranking so far. You got the Thunder still, 27-5. Defending champions, of course. Then you got Detroit Pistons, who are 24-8. Number 1 in the East still. Then you got creeping up on the Thunder, or their kryptonite, the San Antonio Spurs, who are 23-8. And then you got the Nikola Jokic-led Denver Nuggets, with our 22-9. Sorry, Lakers, but y'all been flubbing the bed, and the Denver Nuggets and the Spurs are on the uptick, and you are on the downtick. So, I'm only keeping it real, Playboys. So let's move on to the NBA MVP watch list. We got Nikola Jokic, who's, averaging that triple-double I mentioned earlier with 29.9, 13.7, and 11.6. And then you got Luka Doncic of the LA Lakers, 33.7 points per game and 8.6 assists per game. And then you got the reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, with 32 points per game. So here's your Raw preview for tonight's Monday Night Raw live from Netflix. The Vision is set to open up the show. So what are they going to talk about? Sorry, Cody. Then you got a triple threat match for the women's title that pits Stephanie Vakir defending her title against Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez. Then you got a tag team title match with the champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defending their title against the Usos Penitentiary. And then you got CM Punk and Gunther set to appear. Maybe they'll talk to each other. Maybe they won't. Maybe CM Punk will just CM Punk will interrupt the Vision early in the show, might set up for a tag team match later or something. I don't know. But then Austin Theory is taking on Rey Mysterio after he pinned him during the tag match last week on Raw. Hopefully his gear isn't like that. Because that was stupid. But, Monday Night Raw, title matches, Division, CM Punk, Gunther. Got some Rey Mysterios. So hopefully it will be a good, because this is a live show, so it's not another taping. So hopefully they'll end the year on an uptick instead of a downtick, like the Lakers. Sorry, LeBron. I didn't mean to poke fun. But crazy little ditty. No ditty. This is the last Bishop breakdown of the year. Can you believe it? The 2025 is few days away from being gone, and we're going to be off to 2026, which for me means another year of Bishop's breakdown, another year of content for each and every one of you. I appreciate all the support I get, no matter what, if it's a like, if it's a view, if it's a download, anything that y'all do for me, I appreciate every second of it, because you are going out of your way to say, you're doing all right, bro. And I can't be but more grateful for all of that. And I will keep doing this for as long as there's sports on television, because I love watching sports. I love talking sports. I love doing this podcast. Like, this is the one thing I do every single week that puts a smile on my face. And whatever I'm going through in the IRL, I don't, it goes away when I'm doing this. So thank you for showing up, and I will always show up and show out, because this is what I do. And hopefully if my things that I want to come true, next year is going to be there's going to be some interviews on these podcasts of hopefully big time talent, big time personalities, but it don't matter. I'm going to give you all the content I can possibly get, no matter what I have to do. I'm going to add to this and make it bigger, better than the one before, and bigger, better than the one before that, because growing is what I want to do for this community, for this podcast, for my life, for your lives. I'm just going to be here to guide and build and provide content that I feel is important, that people need to know, need to hear, and get away from the mundane of real life issues. But like the never seen 17, the last real champion, John Cena, said, don't forget to control the controllables. Don't worry about things you can't control that's out of your power. Just focus on what you can control and deal with that. Well, this is episode 10. I'm your host, Bishop, and I'll be back next year for more breakdown, for more breakdowns of news items, sports talk, whatever you want to talk about, whatever it happens on my television, my iPad, online, offline. I'm going to make sure that you hear my thoughts. So episode 11 will be here faster than Jahmyr Gibbs in the open field, which I wish he would have did on Christmas Day. But let's move on. Can't move backwards. You got to step forward. So there's the show. I'm Bishop. Deuces. Ooses.